The man standing guard on the edge of the Roman Empire had not seen a battle in 6 years. No glorious charges, no screaming barbarians crashing through the fog, no heroic last stand. Just rain. Cold, endless, soul-crushing rain. Every morning before sunrise, he woke up to the sound of iron tools scraping dirt instead of swords clashing in war. His hands weren't stained with enemy blood. They were cracked from carrying bricks. Because during peacetime, Roman soldiers were basically construction workers with spears. And honestly, most of them were miserable. When people imagine Roman soldiers, they picture unstoppable warriors marching through fire and chaos. Men covered in bronze armor, eagles waving in the wind, epic battles that changed history forever. But that wasn't the reality for most Roman troops.
Most Roman soldiers spent their lives bored out of their minds, and the Roman Empire wanted it that way, because an idle army was dangerous. A bored soldier could become a rebel. A drunk soldier could start riots. A homesick soldier could desert. So Rome created a brutal system designed to keep soldiers busy every second of the day, even during peace, especially during peace. At dawn, trumpets ripped through the camps before the sun even touched the horizon. Thousands of exhausted men climbed from cramped leather tents or freezing wooden barracks. Then came inspections. Armor had to shine. Sandals had to be repaired. Weapons had to be spotless. A tiny mistake could mean public whipping. And then came the work. Not combat training. Not glorious military strategy. Digging.
Always digging. Roman soldiers dug trenches constantly. They dug roads, defensive ditches, drainage systems, foundations for forts. They flattened land, cut trees, hauled stones, built bridges across rivers that barely deserved bridges. Some historians believe Roman soldiers spent more time building infrastructure than actually fighting wars. And Rome loved that, because wherever the army went, civilization followed. Roads appeared through forests. Forts rose from empty hills. Entire towns formed around military camps. The Roman Empire didn't just conquer the world with violence. It conquered with shovels. And for the average soldier, that became a nightmare. Imagine marching over 20 miles carrying armor, tools, weapons, food, and supplies weighing over 60 pounds, only to arrive somewhere new and immediately start building a camp from scratch before you could sleep. Every single night. Roman soldiers weren't allowed to simply rest in open land. That was considered weakness. So after hours of marching, they dug trenches around the camp, built walls using sharpened stakes, organized watchtowers, and secured entrances before eating a single bite of food.
If they finished late, too bad. Tomorrow started before sunrise again. And the craziest part? Many soldiers secretly preferred war, because war at least broke the boredom. Peacetime was repetitive in a way that slowly crushed the human mind. The same trumpet, the same drills, the same repairs, the same walls, the same mud, over and over again for decades. Some enlisted at 18 years old and didn't leave until their 40s. Think about that. More than 20 years trapped inside military routine with almost no freedom. Many soldiers weren't even allowed to legally marry during service for long periods of Roman history. Rome feared wives and children would distract men from loyalty to the empire. So thousands of soldiers formed unofficial families near forts, relationships that...
Places like northern Britain or the edges of Germania felt like the end of the world. Endless forests, endless fog, endless silence. Roman troops stationed there often came from sunny Italy, Spain, or North Africa. Then suddenly, they were freezing in rain-soaked outposts, surrounded by people who hated them. Some soldiers wrote letters home begging for warmer socks. Others complained about terrible beer. One Roman soldier stationed in Britain literally complained about being sent to this miserable place. And honestly, you can't blame him. The frontier forts were brutal. Smoke filled the air from cooking fires. Barracks smelled like sweat, leather, and wet wool. Disease spread fast. Food became repetitive and bland. A soldier's diet mostly revolved around grain. Lots of grain. Bread, porridge, more bread. Sometimes salted meat if supplies arrived on time. And if supplies didn't arrive, hunger became part of military discipline. But Rome knew exactly what it was doing. The army wasn't just fighting enemies. It was becoming the machine that held the empire together. Roman soldiers acted like police officers, engineers, guards, tax collectors, and disaster responders all at once. If floods destroyed roads, soldiers fixed them. If bandits attacked villages, soldiers hunted them. If emperors wanted monuments built, soldiers carried the stones. The Roman military was less like a modern army and more like an entire government wearing armor. But underneath all that discipline, pressure kept building. Because peace created another dangerous problem. Soldiers started thinking. And when soldiers started thinking, emperors got nervous. Roman history is filled with terrifying moments where entire armies suddenly turned against their rulers. A frustrated legion could declare its own emperor overnight. And that wasn't rare. It happened again and again and again. One bored army on the frontier could throw the entire empire into civil war. So Roman commanders obsessed over control. Training drills became relentless. Punishments became savage. If a soldier deserted, execution. If a unit mutinied, something even worse could happen. Decimation. One of the most horrifying punishments in Roman military history, a rebellious unit would be divided into groups of 10. Then, the soldiers would draw lots. One man from each group would be selected and beaten to death by his own friends. Not by enemies, by the men who shared his meals. Rome understood something terrifying about human nature. Fear keeps people obedient. Even exhausted people. Even miserable people. And for centuries, and that was it. No grand celebration, no statue, no triumph. Just silence. The strange truth is that the Roman Empire wasn't held together by epic battles alone. It survived because millions of ordinary, tired, bored soldiers woke up every day and did the same exhausting tasks over and over again, without questioning the machine they served. Until one day, the machine finally began breaking apart. And when Rome started collapsing, many frontier soldiers didn't even resist anymore. Some abandoned their posts, some joined local tribes, some simply disappeared into history. After centuries of endless drills, endless roads, endless rain, the greatest army on earth had grown tired.